Have you ever really, truly thought about what a word is? It seems so simple, right? Well, today, we're going to put a single word under the microscope. We're going to dissect it, layer by layer, and uncover the incredible complexity that's hiding in plain sight.
So what does a word really mean? You might think, well, I'll just look it up in a dictionary. But honestly, that definition is just the very tip of the iceberg. The real meaning is this whole web of connections, contrasts, and hidden relationships that we navigate all the time.
All right, so here's our game plan for this whole dissection. First, we're going to look at the basic blueprint of meaning. Then, we'll check out its relatives and its opposites. After that, things get a little weird. We'll tackle the tricky cases of words that are like identical twins versus words with multiple personalities. And finally, we'll see exactly where our word fits in its giant family tree. Sound good? Let's get started.
First up, the blueprint. You know, every single word's meaning is built on two core components. Linguists call them intension and extension. And this is pretty much the foundation for how we define, well, anything.
So here's the key difference. Intention is the abstract idea. It's the list of qualities that something has to have to qualify. You can think of it as the what it is. Extension, on the other hand, is the actual list of all the things out there in the real world that fit that description. That's the which ones are they.
Let's make this real with an example. Take the Japanese word for vegetable, yasai. The intention, the blueprint, is basically plants grown for food but not grains. Simple enough? The extension is the actual list of things that fit the rule. You know, cabbage, carrots, tomatoes, and all the rest. So one is the rule and the other is the roster of players.
Okay, so let's move on to the next layer. Words don't live in a vacuum, right? They have relatives we call synonyms. These are words that mean almost the same thing, but each one has its own little quirks, its own unique flavor and personality.
And this right here shows you that synonyms are almost never perfect swaps. In Japanese, niwa is the native word for garden, but you can use it metaphorically to say something like, this is my turf. But garden, which is a loan word from English, can only mean a physical garden space. Same idea, but totally different applications.
And this is not just a one-off thing. The Japanese language is fascinating because its vocabulary is built from these three different sources. So for one single concept like fruit or in, you can have a native word, a word borrowed centuries ago from Chinese, and a much more recent foreign loanword. They're all synonyms, but they are not the same at all.
And here's why that matters. Each type has its own personality. The native words, or wago, they just feel everyday, conversational. The Chinese loanwords, Congo, are way more formal, more technical, the kind of thing you'd see in writing. And then the other foreign loanwords, the Gairaigo, they often have this modern, kind of sophisticated vibe. Choosing the right one is all about picking up on that nuance.
Okay, we've met the relatives. Now let's look at a word's opposite. Because a huge part of understanding what something is understanding what it is not. You can't really get hot without cold, right? And that's where antonyms come into play.
But here's the thing. Opposites isn't just one simple idea. There are actually at least 4 different kinds. You've got complementary opposites, which are totally binary. You're either present or you're absent. Then there are polar opposites, which are 2 extremes, like the North and South poles. Gradable opposites are on a spectrum, like big and small, with tons of room in the middle. And finally, relational opposites describe the exact same event, just from different points of view, like buying and selling. All right, now we're getting to the trickiest part of our dissection. We're going to try to untangle 2 ideas that trip people up all the time. Words that look the same but are totally different, and single words that have a bunch of related meanings.
Okay, let's get this straight because this is the key. Polysemy. That's when one word has developed multiple related meanings. Think of it as a word with multiple personalities. Homonymy, on the other hand, is when 2 completely different words just happen to sound the same. They're like identical twins who have no actual family connection. So let's look at polysemy in action. The Japanese word yume means dream. But from that core idea, what you see when you're asleep, it branches out. It can mean something fleeting and unreal, or a big hope for the future, or even something amazing, like a dream technology. You can feel the thread connecting all of them. They're all part of the same word's personality.
And now for the identical twins, the homonyms. Oh, and this is just a fantastic example. This Japanese sentence is a classic tongue twister. Every single kisha you hear sounds identical, but they are 4 totally different words with different written characters meaning your company, reporter, train, and return to the office. Wild, right?
So you might be wondering, why does Japanese have so many of these identical twins? Well, the answer is in the sound system. The language has a pretty small number of available sounds and a very simple syllable structure. So with a limited number of sound combinations to work with, it's just inevitable that different words end up sounding the same. It's a feature, not a bug. Okay, for our final step, let's zoom all the way out. We've looked inside the word, at its relatives, and its opposites. Now let's see where it fits in the grand scheme of things. We're talking about its family tree.
So this whole hierarchy is made up of hypernyms and hyponyms. Just think of it like this. A hypernym is the parent category, the big family name, like fruit. A hyponym is a specific child in that family, like mango. A mango is a type of fruit. It's really that simple. Every word has parents and can have children.
Let's circle back to our vegetable example one last time. Vegetable is a hypernym, the parent. Leaf vegetable is one of its children, a hyponym, and then cabbage is a child of leaf vegetable. It's this beautiful, organized system of classification, and what's amazing is that our brains navigate these family trees constantly without us even thinking about it.
And there you have it. Our dissection is complete. We've seen that a word's meaning isn't just some static definition you find in a book. It's this living, breathing system. It has a core blueprint, a network of relatives and opposites, a complex identity, and a specific place in a vast family tree.
So this leaves us with one final thought to chew on. If every single word is this complex, what hidden layers of meaning are we actually triggering every time we speak? What are we really communicating when we choose one word over its nearly identical synonym? The story is always, always deeper than we think.